Welcome, fellow Simmers. So let's talk about The Sims 5 for a minute. Apparently, it's not happening, and maybe it was never happening. Maybe it used to be Project Renee, and then that turned into something different. There's a lot of speculation and rumors out there as to what happened, but I think what we can confirm is that The Sims 5 is not going to happen anytime soon and maybe never. So instead of giving us The Sims 5, it appears that EA is more focused on putting out more expansion packs for The Sims 4 and turning it into a multiplayer game at some point in the near future. And that may be where Project Renee comes into play, because it appears as though that might be the project they're working on for The Sims 4 and the multiplayer aspect of The Sims 4, and bringing it to more than just console and PC and Mac, but also bringing it to phones and whatever else they can think of to make money, I suppose. But it doesn't appear that that has anything to do with The Sims 5, or maybe never had anything to do with The Sims 5, or possibly did at one point and then was turned into a Sims 4 project when they decided to scrap plans for The Sims 5. There's a lot of speculation and rumors about all that, but what we do know, and what is basically confirmed by the EA Entertainment president, is that they are more focused on The Sims 4 and what they have going on with that than they will ever be for The Sims 5 anytime soon. The EA Entertainment president did an interview with Variety recently. I think her name is Melee. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but anyway, she did an interview and was kind of asked about The Sims 5 and what's going on with that. And this was one of her responses to one of the questions asked. What I wouldn't want to have happen is you have to start from day zero and start from scratch and give up all of the things that you have created, give up all the content that you purchased over the years, Melee said. We put out over 85 content packs over the last 10 years on The Sims 4, and so resetting that is not player friendly and not a good idea for our community. So that's what the EA Entertainment president had to say, and she was basically speaking for us fans, saying that we don't want The Sims 5 because we've invested all this time and gameplay into The Sims 4, so we don't need or want The Sims 5. And you know what that tells me? That basically tells me that it's corporate speak for, we are making way too much money off you fools with The Sims 4. Why would we ever want to come out with a Sims 5 and waste all that money when we can just be gobbling up all your funds with putting out these mediocre expansion packs over and over? Because quite honestly, we do continue to buy them. We are the problem in a sense that it's kind of like a monopoly where The Sims 4 is really the only life sim game out there. So it's kind of hard not to want to play it. So you kind of have to have that love-dislike relationship where you don't really like some of the stuff going on, but it's the only thing you have. That's why I welcome all of the new life sim games that are coming out. Inzoi is in early access and it's still kind of bare bones, but I am really hoping that Inzoi takes off and it becomes a huge competitor. Now, to me, Inzoi and The Sims 4 are two totally different types of games. Yes, they're life sim games, but Inzoi is focused more on the realistic side, where The Sims 4 is more focused on the cartoony, kind of quirky side of things. So to me, they're kind of different. They do share some similarities, but I think there is space in the life sim games for both. But I just need them, or I want them and need them to succeed so that we do have some competition, or so that at least the Sims team can look at that and be worried and try. I don't know if you've noticed, but they've actually started doing more responding to like support things and stuff like that since Inzoi came out. So I do think Inzoi has helped kind of light a bit of a fire under their butts. But as far as that relates to The Sims 5, I think it's even more telling that they're focused with trying to roll out more support for The Sims 4 and change up some of the back end stuff with the programming and the coding. And to me, if they're putting all that investment into The Sims 4, that's a really good indicator that they do not plan on abandoning it anytime soon. But is there anything we can really do as players to make a difference? And the honest, don't want to hear answer is no, there really isn't, because there's no way we could ever get enough players to band together, to stop buying the packs, to actually make a difference in the purchasing. So until like there would be enough of them to stop buying packs, then the Sims 4 is always going to be around until the Sims team actually decides that they want to switch to the Sims 5. And to me, it appears that they are going all in on the Sims 4. They want to focus on creating probably who knows how many more packs, but I think they're at least looking at the next 3 to 5 years with the Sims 4, and maybe even after that. We could be dealing with the Sims 4 for up to the next 10 years for all we know. And they may actually end up just rebranding it back to the Sims and just taking away the 4 altogether, so they don't have to keep coming out with new incrementally numbered games. But I want to hear what y'all think. Do y'all think it's a good idea to invest more coding and more time and development into the Sims 4 and trying to make it a better game instead of just scrapping it and coming out with a new game altogether? I personally would have much preferred a new game. While it's great that they are adding stuff to the Sims 4 and trying to make things better, there's only so much they can do with the engine and the development that they have. The Sims was developed over 10 years ago, the Sims 4. So they have to work with the coding and the development and the programming from that era. So it's not like they went in there and gutted the entire game. So there's a lot of that coding still around, and they have to work around that to try to provide newer technology with an older system. I've worked with coding some in my past, and I am by no means an expert or anything like that, but I would imagine being a programmer or a developer and having to go and work with code that has been sitting around for 11, 12, 13 years wouldn't be ideal in my job. So I can imagine that there are a lot of things that they wish they could do to change, but they just can't because of the technology they are dealing with. Now, I could be wrong about all that. Like I said, I am no expert at coding, but I have dabbled in it a bit in the past, and it does not seem like it would be ideal to work with 10-plus-year-old code. Or maybe it's not the code that's the problem, and it's just the backbone altogether, and there's nothing they can do to change that. And until they come out with a new game, they will always be on the old system, because I highly doubt they will ever just gut The Sims 4 entirely and then start fresh, especially with a free game that we are constantly buying packs for no matter what. But I want to hear what y'all have to say. Do you think it's a good idea to continue with The Sims 4 or rebrand it The Sims or whatever, and then try to improve on the things that already exist? Or would it be better to just scrap the game entirely and come out with The Sims 5 with a new fresh engine and the up-to-date technology that we need to have a proper life Sims game in 2025? And if EA did decide to develop The Sims 5, would it be more like Enzoi in the beginning, where it may take a year or two before it even becomes a game that has enough content to be playable? Would you prefer to have that over them just building on The Sims 4 and what we already have? I want to hear what y'all have to say about it, so sound off in the comments and let me know. That's all I have for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and look out for my next video where I'm going to be talking about Project Renee a little more. We will dive into what it is and what to expect from it, and when the possible release date may be for it, and any other rumors and speculation about the project. So be on the lookout for that video. Until then, catch me in the next one. Later, fellow Simmers.